So, welcome everyone. Delighted you're here. I found yesterday Lionsgate activations in so many places on the planet very intense. And especially last night, I think we are taking the consciousness of our species to a new level. And to me, that means a lot of people are releasing and clearing. So I thought we'd start with the Egyptian cleansing breath and just really get grounded and into ourselves. So if you'll stand up, create room. You want enough room to be able to do this without knocking over things. Let's just shake out. Shaking out resets the nervous system. Really soften your knees, shake out your legs. And your fanny. Your shoulders. Yay. Shake out your head. Okay, so we're going to build some energy. First with our hands. And then the bellows breath. So the belly goes in and out with the breath. And then calling the energy up, adding your life force, bringing it all the way up the core, in breath, big full breath, shoulders relaxed, all the way up the crown. Call in your light, the fingers go in a pyramid, bring it down your center. Again, scooping up, Kundalini, life force, earth energy all the way up the core, shoulders relaxed, out the crown. Bring in your light. All the way down. Soft knees as you bring up earth energy. Kundalini, breathe it up. All the way up the core, out the crown. Bring your light down. Beautiful. And then the next will be the cleansing breath, where we go instead of bringing it down. Brings it down, but in a way that really clears the energy. So let's build a little more energy. Bellows breath. Gather up earth energy, life force, Kundalini all the way up, out the crown. Bring your light down. Ha! Yeah, feel that. Bringing it all the way up. Breathe up your Kundalini life force. And bring your light down. Ha! And once more. Ha! Ha! And notice how you feel. If you need any more, just ha, 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 and the back. Ha, 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 ha. Ah. Woo. Bringing your whole self and your grounding to your seat. Ah, thank you. I feel much better. And I love the heavily meditated shirt. So let's get heavily meditated, arriving in your core, in your breath, allowing the feeling of your light spiraling down your center. Follow it all the way in, as if it's spiraling around the chakras. Become resident in the core of your body, arriving in the heart of now. Feel your grounding, perhaps sink new roots deep into the earth, anchoring in tourmaline or crystal or whatever earth energy you prefer. Let those roots really root into the earth. So that as you breathe out, you're releasing into the earth. As you breathe in, you're letting the earth energy flow up and spiral up your center. The upward spiraling serpent that encompasses all the chakras, potentiates them, brings them to balance. Letting go on the out breath, releasing into the earth. And then while you're in your core, really in your center, reach into the light of your being and open to the flow of your own radiance, flowing in and through you. Spiraling the downward spiraling serpent. Again, blessing and energizing the chakras, potentiating them, bringing them to balance. Inviting your soul, your higher self, to align you with the heart of your heart. To align the heart of your heart with the heart of your being. Aligning the heart of your being and the heart of your heart with the heart of earth. Aligning the heart of earth and the heart of your heart with the heart of source. And aligning with the heart of the universe. And ask your most radiant, light-filled guides and angels to recalibrate all your energies to current time. Bring all your energies, your chakras, and your subtle bodies right into now. And recalibrating all of your energetics to current time, this moment, August 9th, 2022, right here, right now. And notice how it feels to be fully present in your core and now supported by heaven and earth. Put one hand over your heart, one over Dantian, and bless yourself. Bless yourself for simply being. I am enough. I am enough just being me. Blessed be. And then if you wish, add this sense of deep groundedness and embodiment to your anchor. Oh. And notice as you do, it may fire the anchor, you may feel even more of the alignment and the embodiment and the connection to source that you've added to that anchor. Let it serve you. Ah. Beautiful. As you're ready, open your eyes to the circle. And let's do our check-in. What's alive for you? Where you are with your intentions or your passion project, what you're really using this mentorship to help create. Any wins or challenges? And who would like to time? Yes. I don't even have my phone, so I can't do it here. Someone willing to time?
Liz, you're muted, honey.
All time. Are you using the stopwatch to time? Is that what you guys are doing, using that?
You can. I think it's a little clearer to use a countdown though.
Timer. Okay, so just 2 minutes and a minute and a half.
Yeah.
Hold it up.
Yes.
I'll see if I can be responsible enough for that.
Okay, thank you.
Not 2 hours, 2 minutes. Okay, got it. Just give me a second here. 2 minutes. All right. Got it.
Thank you. And who would like to go first? Carrie?
Yeah, I am in feels like a high vibration, even though like there's been a lot of release. I like slept less than 2 hours last night, which is not typical for me. I'm a good sleeper and I am still. And yeah, what's alive is this I feel like it was really old of attachment with my partner. And when I feel like he's an embodiment of his higher self, we really connect. And then when he's not able to maintain the vibration, he goes away. And it triggers an old pattern in me and very protective, where I felt like I was almost a little manic yesterday and it felt really good. So I don't know if it was the Lionsgate energy, but I had a house cleaner here and like upside down the house and cleaning and organizing, and it feels really, really good in that way. 1 second. And so anyway, what I was noticing is then this pattern of when he goes away, like I want to run away. I want to run away. And so I was noticing like in my heart, I'm just gonna like not tell him any of this is showing up for me and just like let it fizzle out. The energy is just gonna fizzle out. And spirit never allows that to happen. So like it all kind of came in at like 2 o'clock in this morning. Like we talked from like 1 o'clock till all night till 5 till you had to go to work. And it was beautiful and amazing. And I can't believe how source works in that way. You know, like it just like the more I try to like resist or but the more I just surrender to what is and speak it, then all of a sudden I'm back to reconnecting. So anyway, that's what I'm playing in. And just regarding my intention for the week, I feel like I'm there, kind of what Jasmine said, that I am 100% focused and in my being, and I am doing aligned action and speaking what needs to be spoken in any moment, and I'm not questioning one bit of it. It feels really powerful.
Mm.
Yeah. So it's like it's moving quickly, and I'm like, I mean, I was even telling, I don't know, it was just anyway, there's so much, but anyway, that's it. Thank you.
Yay. Want some loving? Mm. Mm. And who's next? Heather?
Yeah. So the rest of my week since we last met, I can't even talk, continue to be really turbulent. And there's still some of that energy going. So I'm just continuing to sit with it and notice my parts and kind of like Carrie, working with my own past attachment stuff and what's old stories and where am I at now and stuff like that. So it's been a process. And then on a different track with all my business stuff, it's been really awesome. I feel like super good things are happening there and all these new people. Evelina, you said to me at one point at a SAT saying that the right people would come into my path. They would just show up and it's happening. So I'm really excited to see that. And so I have a new web person, I have a social media person, and I have a co-collaborator teacher that's going to help share some of the load of my new mentorship program. And then she and I are also getting retreats put together for doing in the Netherlands and Brazil and Portugal. And so we're going to be traveling in 2023, doing a lot of teaching. So it feels very exciting. It's really big stuff. And I'm just like, oh my God, like such amazing stuff's happening from a career work perspective. And it just has total flow. Like it doesn't feel like I have to work at it. So it's amazing. So that's a nice part of my life. So yeah, holding all this stuff, like the simultaneous turbulence, as well as like the beauty of like, oh, this area of my life's going so easy. And this part feels so crunchy. So that's where I'm at. Thanks.
Want some loving? All right. Lucinda?
So I started the week out still a little bit tired. I feel like I'm getting some upgrades, letting go of some past stuff that I don't even have to know that it's there. And that feels really good too, that the why doesn't matter. And I'm just trusting and resting when I need to. And I've been cleaning like a kamikaze woman. Oh my gosh, like things just can't be clean enough. So I'm definitely purging and letting go. And a lot of it is poop related because I'm in the dog business. So it's very interesting that it happens to be what's coming forward for me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, another dog has pooped in my house. Like, this is insane. Then I want to clean the whole house because I'm like, it doesn't smell good. So that's interesting. My sense of smell is the fifth one of my personal experiences with the psychic ability or whatever you want to call it. And so smell is my fifth one. And it's just really powerful. It's one that I didn't really work in, but it's been coming in very intensely lately, guiding me and letting me know things and stuff. So that's been a new little piece. And as far as my intentions go, everything's flowing. It's amazing. Even things that I had set in motion before we all started working together and had completely forgotten about because I've put so much devotion into what we're doing together, even that's coming in. So it's super amazing. One of the things that I've been working on is not only holding my own intentions, but holding all of yours as well, and acknowledging them, placing things on my altar on y'all's behalf, and just really genuinely working towards that sense of community. And I'm feeling very connected with each of you in so doing that. And that feels really yummy and amazing. So I'm complete and I would love some loving.
Beautiful. Mm. Ah. Next. Liz.
Morning. It's nice to be back. Stillness has been what I've wanted to focus on and doing less. And somehow the universe has brought me more, even though I'm in my daily trying to really work with meditation and stillness. So it's kind of an interesting time for me. My mother was supposed to pass last week, and she rallied once again at 95 years old and got a pacemaker, and she's now in an acute facility. So there's been a lot of red tape and a lot of stuff around that. My boyfriend ended up in Germany and was trying to get me over there, but they won't let civilians over because they're all going into Ukraine and Ukrainian gear. So that was, I mean, I'd be there right now if they would have let me in. So anyway, that's kind of hard that he's there, I'm here, who knows when this war is going to be over. So there's that. So I'm trying to keep myself at peace through, the different things going on and being alone. And I took a cooking class the other day and enjoyed that, even though I don't have a lot of patience. It was fun it was a good friend of mine who's a chef and an author. So I enjoyed being with the women and doing that. That felt really good. And I'm doing breath work. I'm working with somebody, and I see her again Thursday to really, she's helping me with meditation and helping me with breathing. So I'm really doing the things that I'm trying to do to calm myself more and be more still. I don't know if it's working or not, but I'm trying. I go in and out of it. I feel my manic self get all hyper, and I hear that. And then I use the tools that I've been learning to try to just relax into being still and not having to say anything or respond. So that's it for today. Thank you. And I'll take all the loving I can get. Thank you, ladies. Thank you.
Next. Nina.
So let's see. Intention wise, things seem to be moving. They're moving a little slower than I had hoped for a few things. However, I think that everything does come in divine timing, and there's a lot going on in my life, and it's interesting because I slid down some wet stairs the other day, and realized that when that's come up in the past, it's probably for me to be still, more still, or to kind of not move as much, or not just to calm everything in life. I'm hoping that's recalibrating me, but but things, I mean, things are good, it's things. I always feel that things go the way they're supposed to be. So I'm again grateful for everyone here and to be in this class and for showing up and having me be accountable to show up. So very appreciative of all that. So thank you. And yes, of course, I'd love some love.
Diana.
Well, I've actually sold a couple of products on my store without doing anything. They just sort of popped up, which is great. Feels real positive. I interestingly had a book show up for me the other day, or last night, or the night before, Marianne Williamson, about losing weight. It's all about consciousness and spirituality and everything. So it's really cool. It just showed, it was a book I had already. It's just like, I thought, I saw the spine. I went, what is that? Anyway, so I'm working on getting a new roof on my house. I'm gonna get that under contract tomorrow. I'm working on getting the house painted, and that's not my personal house. It's my rental property that I'm trying to sell. Finally made a definitive decision. It's just been a real, what am I supposed to do? To not list it as a vacation property. It's just not the right location. It's just, it would be too much investment for not enough return. So I finally made a decision about that. I am praying to sell that house at full asking price without having to pay their closing costs. And so I'm hoping for more energy about that to happen. And let's see what else. I just feel like I've got more energy. I mean, that feels great. It's getting more done and it being easier for me. And I really appreciate that. That's a big step. Sleep is still an issue. I couldn't get to sleep very well last night, but c'est la vie. Those with, I normally get, around 8 hours, but it's not all the time. Anyway, God bless you all. Thank you so much for being in my life. And I would love some love-ins. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Yay. And next,
I can go.
Olivia.
Yeah. So intention wise, it's been a really good week in that I've slowed down a lot and done a lot of making and crafting and made a new friend who's like a creativity coach who lives in this area where I've just started living. So that feels really exciting. But being in this body has been kind of rough. Ever since COVID, have had digestive issues, which was like in the springtime, and they are getting a lot worse this week. And so it's just been a really rough kind of time to try to figure out. I can't figure out any pattern or any sort of like theme around it. So yeah, just kind of being with what it's like to not know what's causing it and want to fix it.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I would love some loving.
Ah. Mm.
Thank you.
Mhm. Jasmine.
I'll share a little more. I've also been cleaning like a monkey. I started painting the living room a few days ago because I've been having challenges getting the health department and the septic. There's so many needs to, I needed to like get it. God, I don't even know how to express it in stages, like the last thing was getting test pits dug up, and then I'm waiting for Amy in the health department. I thought, well, I'll just paint the living room so I won't be too concerned about it. And I finished it yesterday and then did extra cleaning and was noticing also my ex-boyfriend was in my space, and I was feeling him, and we were really, really deep soulmates, even though he wasn't very well. And I was like asking Spirit, what's it about? And he wanted to make amends to me, and I took it in. It was really sweet, and then I let him go, and I heard Spirit telling me I'm really ready now. It's been over a year and a half since we were together, and I was just hearing I feel very sovereign within myself and very happy on my own, and Spirit saying you're finally ready for what you're wanting to call in. So yeah. I slept amazingly well, and I'd love to support you, Olivia, you have any, because I had IBS for like a number of years, and it became immune issues, and I've healed myself completely from all of that, and fungal issues and parasites. But I'm really doing really well now, which feels amazing to be feeling healthy. Thank you.
Great. Want some loving?
Love your love. Yes. Thank you.
Mm.
Mm. Mm.
Mm. Yay. So I've had a amazing weekend. I did a medicine journey on Friday that was all about heart and spirit. And it's called a heart circle. It was delightful. And I had a person there that's someone I've worked with for a year or so that I was really supporting. And I came home feeling pretty clear and good. But I think I took in energy because I was so open, because she was clearing a lot of shock from being raised in a cult. And I felt fine on pretty good on Sunday. And then yesterday with the activation of the Lionsgate portal, I was very aware of the activations, and I just got more and more tired all day. And then had someone else who was raised in Haiti in the voodoo world that just absolutely had to be seen last night. And I was ready to quit. I was ready. I was going to go to a Lionsgate activation, but I was tired. And Babaji said, I'll do it. We can do it. I woke up at 2 a.m. with this horrible dream. I felt like every woman who's ever been wounded was marching through my dream. So I got in the shower and we were clearing energies worldwide, draconian energies that we're sending out of this world. We're sending them through a wormhole to another universe where they've made a new home for them, and shifting some AI intelligence and clearing from all the different kinds of ritual abuse. And it went on quite a long time. And then it was really hard to sleep. But I feel that I cleared something really deep in me. One of the insights I got months ago was that I metabolized my mother's pain. That part of my belly is that I took in her fear and her pain. And that's where it was coming out of. It was like, I no longer metabolize anybody's pain. Really shifting that pattern. So I've had maybe an hour and a half of sleep, but I know how to run on light. So here we are. Sounds like I'm not the only one. And just really calling on spirit to work through me, speak through me. You'll get to see my blended self today when I'm really working me and spirit together. And I'll take your loving. Nom, 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 nom. Thank you.
Evelyn, I know we're not speaking, but when you spoke all of that clearing, like just tears are like coming from my eyes.
Uh,
And I thank you for doing that work. And I feel like I'm kind of getting that I'm also doing it. And like I was even at dance and just like tears kept coming, but I'm not getting tons of the content.
uh-huh.
But I feel it. It doesn't feel like anything's wrong. Like it doesn't feel wrong, but I just feel the energies moving.
Yeah.
Like and it
Beautiful.
feels really tender, like my there's new roots and they just need protection by me. Like I need to like make sure they're like just really, I'm like super fierce in my protective self-love right now.
Mm,
Feels very tender.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. Part of the Lion's Gate is the opening for the new way of our species functioning, the up leveling of our species to come through. And I think a lot of us are clearing energies and bringing in light. We don't even have to know what it's about as long as you keep moving it on through. Yeah. Great. Okay. So thank you all. I went back to our poll, and the next thing that wants to be shared is networking tips, ways to describe our work, and ways to be building lists. Sound good? So your marketing wants to be purpose-driven. So you tune into why. Why are you marketing? Are you wanting to draw clients, to build lists, to become a person of value to the world? Because when you get clear about why you're marketing, then you can really get your brand, or you can energize the brand you have. And it helps you become someone who's taken seriously for whatever you offer to the world, or when you're ready to offer. So I would say use every opportunity for networking. So when I'm really in the networking mode, I always have cards on my pocket or my purse ready to hand out. And I find ways to share with people so that I can in some way introduce my work to them. So if you're in a networking event, which I find networking events with spiritually activated women, especially, some are women and men, I have found them really useful, especially if you get longer than 30 seconds. We have one that meets in Hendersonville, or did, it's opening back up. You get 2 minutes. So you really get to share who you are. But even 30 seconds, it's valuable. Whenever you go to network, go early, stay late. Because the most involved conversations are the first people when they're waiting for everyone to gather. And at the end, where people have time to actually talk and maybe ask you about something you've shared. When you're talking to people, Jessica Hadari calls it listen and gather. That's where you start. So you ask questions about the other person first. 3 questions maybe. What do you do? What kind of people do you work with? How do you like your work? So you ask questions about them, and that lets you see if there's some kind of divine match collaboration that can happen. So you're seeing what you might have in common, what you might be able to touch base on. And then you might share how you can help them before you ask for what you want from them. How you can scratch their back before she scratches your back. So that's part of networking, is where can we connect? What can we do that supports each other? It's not just telling what you do. And then see if you can get their card and permission to send them emails. So how many of you have a 30-second pitch? Oh my. I would encourage you to get a 30-second pitch. Practice it in front of the mirror, and then call someone here, if you're willing, and say, I'd love to know, what do you do? And you give your 30-second pitch. And it wants to be about what you have to offer, as your name at the beginning and at the end, maybe a tagline, the type of people you serve, and what they receive from you. So there's a big difference between telling them what my process is, or what they get from being with me. For example, I could say, I'm Evelina Rose. I offer metatherapy. I do channeled readings. I do inner child work, sometimes Hakomi, Gestalt, energetic healing, and I love working with people. Evelina Rose, the alchemy of love. So you know what I do, but that's not going to draw people very well. So here's saying similar, but about them. I'm Evelina Rose. I work with people to help them retrieve their life force from the past and from trauma, reconstitute their whole self, come to live from their center, and access their true innate power. Evelina Rose, the alchemy of love. Open your heart and embody your soul. You feel the difference? Yeah. So that's going to draw people because they want that. I might add, I probably would add, I do metatherapy and channeled readings, but at least I want to include their benefit. And that's true in your emails, in your text, in your social media post. What do people get from you? What do they come for? Some people like to start with a question, like, have you ever wanted to retrieve all of yourself out of the trauma of the past? And that can really engage people. And even when I go to parties or workshops, it's not really about promotion, but I've got my cards in my pocket or my purse, and I find a way to mention something about my work if it feels like the person is resonant with me. So it might be, they say, how are you doing? What's going on in your life? Oh, I'm really enjoying my life. And I had the most amazing session. It really taught me something about myself. Oh, what do you do? There we are. You see, so you give people an opportunity to know you. And it's kind of tangential, but I often get it in. And go where your people go. What kind of gatherings do your people go? So you want to think of your avatar. If you're doing seminars or teaching, or if you're doing private sessions, what's the quintessential person you most want to serve? What is that person like? How do they receive your work? And usually with the mentorship, there's one person that joins that feels like my avatar. And then everyone is kind of, in a sense, calibrated to that energy because I want it to serve everyone who comes. But I especially orient what I say and do to my avatar, which is not a beginner. It's someone who's really ready to work at an advanced level, because that's where I want to work. So you go where your avatars go. So I want to talk a minute about funnels. So when you're promoting something, let's say you've got a whole new webinar series, or you're promoting the camp or whatever it is, your big package, you create a funnel, you create a way for people to come in. And so at the top of the funnel are free offerings, gifts that you give away, and where you might teach at a camp out, or a seminar, or I've taught at Leaf Festival, where people get a chance to experience you. And it's not really about promotion, but I have a sign up. And when they sign up, it says on there, you get a free chakra cleansing healing. Then I send them the link. Now they're on my website. They get to click whether or not they want to receive my emails. So you're building lists from the free offerings. So it might go from a free offering to an introductory evening or an hour online seminar. And then you do 2 or 3 of those, you're building list, and then it goes to a half day. It might go to a weekend. For a webinar, like the Femifesting webinar, I did a video about it. I put it on my website and I put it on social media and I sent it out in a newsletter. Then I worked up the webinar and I sent details about that. And then my marketing person said, I think you need to do 3 mini master classes that were free 3 days in a row. And I was so mad at her. It's like, you gotta be kidding. I don't want to spend 20 minutes for 3 days giving something away free. And she said, you want to fill your webinar? And I said, will you sit with me and help me do these classes? Because if you're really going to go big, hire consultants, hire support. We don't have to lone wolf this. I have had consultants and coaches and website people. I've hired people all through my career, which is probably why I've supported myself in a full-time private practice and seminar business. And other people do other things to make money. Because I spend money to make money, spend it on the right people. So I did my 3 mini master classes, and then that filled the webinar, and I had a paid six week, 90-minute each webinar. So that's the funnel. For my therapy, the funnel is a free discovery call, 20-minute discovery call. And I've gotten so good, I close them almost every time. I used to just talk to people and they'd say, and they'd think about it and we'd talk later. But I really let them talk about what they want. So I'm asking them questions, what they're looking for, what encouraged them to want the call. And then I ask, would you like to know more what I offer? So it's really addressing their needs when I talk about my work. And then I ask, would they like to make an appointment? And they almost always do. So free discovery call. I do have a 75-minute introductory call that's 45 minutes. I kind of hid it on my website because I'd rather not do it, but it's an option. Next part of the funnel, and then an hour session, hour and a half. I do 2 hour, I do day long, I do 2-week intensives, 3 days to 2 weeks, but you're bringing them in. So those bigger packages, they play up here first before you're directing them down to the bigger packages. I resisted forever to sell packages of sessions and finally did, and it's fabulous because people really get committed because they paid for 4 or 10 sessions. You get the money up front and they're more likely to do sessions. I've seen it every time. So I'll say, if you're interested, there's packages on my website. This is in the discovery call. If you want to do this first session and then decide, we can take it out of the package. And so I'm selling more and more packages, which gives you operating capital. It's a good thing. Marketing people will say, you really have to get away from what they call the one-off, where it's just you and another person, one-on-one. You want to build to gatherings and groups. This is one of my bigger packages, is this mentorship, and I love it. It's so extraordinary for me. So you go from free to your big signature program. So Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. So shall we talk about building list? So you can do it through networking, and you're building a healthy following, which might be a healthy email list, by thriving with people who are already aligned and inclined to buy your bigger program. So you're working toward alignment. So Jessica Hadari, I sent you her information about her ritual class on Friday. She's wonderful. So her free classes are part of her funnel. And they really work. They bring people in. She has over 6,000 women in an engaged community. And she does a big mentorship, big program, marketing program that's like $5,000 and fills it every year. So I think it's just worth going, even just to witness Jessica. So she feels that social media are not the way to go. That to build email list is better and easier. If you send an email to 1,000 people, you'll get probably a 5% sign up. So it's 50 amazing people. If you reach 1,000 people with a social media post or an ad, you might get a 1% sign up. So that's 10. So you really have to go broad with social media. I do both because I hire people. I have someone who does my social media from the poems and the writings I've already done and the graphics I've already gathered over 40 years. But it's really not built for promotion. It's built for interaction. So you have to do a lot of interactions. So creating alignment. You're creating aligned client attracting pathways that head toward your big program. What's the most important thing you want to fill? Align everything with that. So that way, every offering feels like a natural yes to the next step, yes to the next step, and yes. And she calls it rinse and repeat. You create steps you can do again and again. One piece is offering an aligned free gift on your website. It's called a lead magnet or an opt-in gift. And what's important about free gifts that lead to clients is, first of all, the theme is 100% aligned with the theme of your deepest offering that you want them to eventually sign up for. So you don't give a free gift that's off that theme. You give it aligned with the theme. It solves a problem or it gets people closer to a dream outcome. And it's short and easily digestible. So it can be immediately enjoyed and implemented. So if your free gift is a long ebook, people will download it and they may never see it again. If it's a short poem or part of a chapter, they might take it in right there. And that's what you want. You want it consumed. So they're already aligning with what you're offering. And it establishes you as a trustable expert. It includes your headshot, a first-person bio, and testimonials. Should be aligned with that free gift.
Can you say more about that first line bio?
First person. So instead of Carrie does da 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 da, it would be I offer, or I love working with people who are opening themselves to their own higher consciousness. So it feels very personal. It's about it, it draws them to you and to your personality. Yeah. Some people put a video on their homepage that offers that. It can be very sweet. So free gifts could be first chapter of your book. It could be a downloadable PDF guide, something they can print, put on the refrigerator, a poem, a short video, the mini video series like I did. And then you have those. You can sell them, you can reuse them. If I do Femifesting again, I may not need to do 3 new videos. I can post those 3 days in a row. And could be an audio and a visual, like a one-page handout and a brief guided meditation. Some people do an assessment. So it's like, take this quiz or take this assessment, see where you stand in relation to whatever it is you offer. Could be a journaling exercise or a worksheet to fill out. Or a blog article. They click on the blog article and there's a free gift sign up in the sidebar. I have 6 free gift signups in my website. So they may not take the first one, but they might go to Femifesting and get the free Femifesting. And then they always get asked if they like to receive my emails, because you need to do that if they're getting on your list. You need to get permission.
And it feels like the free offer is part of the different funnels.
Yes,
So you have multiple funnels going at each time or on your website.
I do, because I've
Yeah.
been in business 44
Yeah.
years. Yeah.
Okay. So like one free gift per offering or product or service.
If you were doing it just beginning, I think that's a really good idea. Yeah. I just happen to have kind of put it together over the years. So the Femifesting isn't leading to a signature package, except maybe this one, the mentorship, but it is something that I often share with people. And then they might buy the whole class. So the free gift can also lead them to purchasing something that is a product. So in your marketing, you want a really clear message. So you deeply listen to your community and your clients. You can have a gathering of people and give feedback. So for the new offering that my friend and I are doing about advanced practitioners of Tantra, we'll do a gathering of the people we're considering to find out what they want, what will appeal to them. And then that will lead right into how we write it up. And clear message and intimacy. Taking time to cultivate intimacy, to emotionally connect to your audience, to invite them into deeper offerings so they feel that you care about them. That and that's part of the first person bio. It's like you're important to me. And they are, if they're your avatar, they are important to you. And so you want to have that communicated. So Jessica, the one I'm talking about who has the Friday class, she has these women teas. And she'll do many things that really help people feel connected, including several breakout rooms where 4 people get to share about their work. So you come away with several people to network with. And that's creating a sense of intimacy. So ask yourself, what are my deepest prayers for my community? For your target community, the people you want? What are your deepest prayers? And how can I reflect these in my messaging? So you do, the list building often starts with free events. You do a lot of giveaways to get the big purchases happening, because it creates intimacy, it creates buy-in. So they're often free, they're usually fun or very experiential, not much marketing, just a coming together as community, and you give them resources. So it might be rituals, sound healings, meditations, play shops, ceremonies, virtual teas, networking events, open mic, ways that people get to experience you. and each other. And then you might go to client attracting events, webinar or workshops. Start small and build. So they get journeys with you where your deeper offerings feel like the natural next step. And in these, you invite them into that deeper offering. I've done a lot of, yes, Carrie?
So I'm really feeling into what you're saying here, and what I notice that sometimes they become my friends,
Mhm.
but I guess that's how it is. I mean, and that's okay. I feel like that model is like so different from me being like a therapist or psychologist.
Uh-huh.
So I just don't know, like, I guess that's fine in this realm. Like, because I feel like I really can serve some of my closest friends.
Mhm. When I moved to Marin County, people said, you can't make a practice there. It's full of therapists and channels. And I said, then they'll be my clients. And my clients and my friends are in the same community.
Okay.
So what it's meant for me is I'm always the same all the
Yeah.
time. I don't put on a therapist hat,
Yeah, that's how I feel too.
but I really hold a therapist's boundaries.
Mhm.
So if someone comes and works with me on deeper sexuality, no matter how attracted I get to them, they're off limits.
Mhm.
I hold that boundary. I will never cross that boundary.
Yeah.
If someone comes as a friend and we end up doing some work, we might negotiate. We'll see. But I'm really thoughtful. I never want to be the therapist or the channel that people go later and talk about, and then she crossed my boundary. So I'm holding that professional boundary, but it's very different from what you're taught in your licensure stuff.
Yeah.
Because I work with my peers all the time. You know, like me going to the retreat y'all are having in September, that would be off limits for many people. For many therapists, for me, it feels acceptable and it feels a way to get to know people more. Feels like good retreat for me. And I'll be thoughtful that coming in as a teacher, or maybe a therapist for some of you, there's a differential in power. So I've got to watch the boundaries. The other person doesn't necessarily have to, but I do.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Diana?
As a massage therapist, when massaging friends, they would come to my home. My home had to be clean. And I had my massage hat on, when they walked in the door. I didn't want to sit and hang out and chat. I wanted to take care of business, and then I could take the hat off and just sit and be friends.
Yeah.
And I remember working with you, we would often do an exchange, and it was very much down to business until everything was done and we could hang out. We did a little of, schmoozing with the massage, it was easier to chat. But I do think it's a great way to keep those boundaries, and you have to have your own rules or whatever want to call it, your boundaries. And that for me, when a friend came to my home to get a massage or a bodywork session with orthobionomy, we needed to do that first, because that's the headspace I was in, and then
Exactly.
we move
Yeah.
on.
And sometimes I'll even say, all right, that's wonderful. Thank you. Let's take that hat off and put on friend. And move somewhere else. Move out of the room, move to the living room, move outside, go for a walk. So you make a transition. Yeah. I've done a lot of free classes at conferences, at festivals, Tantra festivals, Soul Play. Soul Play Festival is a fabulous place to do a workshop, because you're working with your peers. You get a lot back, and it's easy to draw people into your work. New culture camps, everyone's a peer there. And so it's really flavored my work. And So I always have my card. You may not have seen it. I have a card that I give out. I have one right handy. So I have my business cards, but I also have these. So it describes my work. And then on the back, it has my bio and website and contact info. But it's attractive and people pick it up. I also have a sign-in. So I collect their email addresses and send them the link to my website by sending them a free gift. So the next point I want to make is reciprocity. When you're building lists, one of the best ways is power partners, or it's called strategic partners, where you share each other's offerings. You might share each other's free gifts. So if you do take one of Jessica's classes, you'll find in about 2 or 3 weeks, you'll get an email where she's offering 4 or 5 free gifts. And there are other people's giveaways. So she's introducing people. It's you highlight them, they highlight you. And it's a cross promotion. So you could highlight other experts, you can promote their events and they promote yours. You can share each other's free gifts. You can give a shout out to each other on social media. So my former co-teacher, I almost always comment on her post about how great her work is, and she comments on mine. You can feature the other person in a blog or a newsletter. You'll see that soon, one of mine. And you can host each other for a Facebook Live or a YouTube interview. So that same person, Lindy and I, would go on Facebook and interview each other about our work. And especially, it happens a lot with festivals that one person at the festival interviews someone else, they talk about their workshop. And so you're able to get the promotion, but it's also just a fun interaction about a certain topic. And Lindy and I will come on, we don't even know what we're going to talk about because we know it will be fun. We laugh a lot. It's got intimacy. It's got that sense of personality to it that makes people want to work with us. It can be a stage trade. If you're on stage, you bring them up. You might bring them up to play music or to offer a certain piece, and then they bring you up on their stage. You teach their people, they teach your people. You can invite them to share some wisdom in your Facebook group, or teach a class to your students, or create a video for your YouTube channel, or be a guest blogger on your blog, or share wisdom to your email list. So my suggestion is take some time to dream. How can you build collaborative structures into your business? And who would you want as strategic partners? Someone you really feel you want to promote, and whose audience would be the right audience for you. So my marketing person did a really interesting thing last week. She posted, so I did a video I've been wanting to do a long time. You probably got it in a newsletter about a spinal bath, bringing light down your spine. It's deeply, deeply grounding. And then she posted on social media that we had done this video, and if they wanted, we could send it to them. So they wrote back, and then she instant messaged them to get their email address so she could send it to them. It's list building. So I got maybe 20 people on my list that wouldn't have been there if I had just posted the video. So you think of how do I bring them to my website? You're always directing traffic back to your website. One of my freebies was when COVID hit, I really heard elders to the fore. I went online on Facebook and I did 9 weeks of free channelings. And they were going to be 45 minutes. It was part of my plan. But because it was COVID, I made them an hour and a half, 2 hours. Last one was 2.25. And I doubled my practice. Wasn't the intention, but the giveaway brought people to the practice. And totally different from this, I have an ad with Yelp. So you can put a listing on Yelp about what you're doing and people will see it. If they write a review, they might be seen, but only if they write a lot of reviews for Yelp, quite a few reviews for Yelp. But the ad is $500 a month. And I thought, well, that's really high. But it has been one of the best things I've done. Because if someone puts in my keywords, I end up on top of the listing. So people without ads, someone puts in channeling, I'm at the top of the list, the paid people are at the top, and then everybody else is below. But in therapist, I'm at the top because of my paid ad. And I've had people say, I was looking all over Yelp and you just came up at the top. So of course I knew I had to work with you. It's brought me a lot of people. It's been worth it. So you might consider that.
And how do we know our keywords?
There are things that people would possibly search on to find you.
Yeah.
And so what would you think? What are your keywords? What would people search on?
This is where I go spinning into the vortex with these kind of questions. Like it's so, yeah, I get blocked around it.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can come up with a word and search on it and see who comes up.
Mm.
If you search on it and you get weird people for that word, you don't want that word.
Okay.
So I would put channeling. I would feel medium would bring me something else. I don't quite see myself as a medium. So you don't want to do too broad, but therapist or whatever kind of seminar you do, words that identify you are the ones to use. So I think I want to close there so we have plenty of time for channeling. Are there any other questions? Diane is saying Google has a keyword search that lists the best first. So you can read her note in chat. You also want keywords on your website. So I have an exercise that I decided I'm going to put in Mighty Networks because I want to spend our time with the channeling. But it's about your most desired offer in the world. Who's your audience? Describe your avatar. How do you help them? What problem do you solve? What are their goals, aspirations? What types of images, media would appeal to them? What search terms might they use? Which online groups serve them? Have the best traffic? What's your good offer? What do you most want them to buy? And word your offer from their view. So that'll be in Mighty Networks. And I would suggest, if this appeals to you, that you spend some time with that and do some journaling this week. Okay. Thank you all. You ready for break? Okay. Let's come back at 33 after the hour.
Did you want to pause it,
Yeah.
the video?
You are so good. Welcome back. In the back office, I have the person who's been doing my virtual assistant work from California, training my other two people. So there's a 3-part Zoom call going. It's pretty fun to watch. Okay, shall we call in our friends in high places? All right. Breathing, grounding. Allow yourself to fully slip into, fall into, arrive in the core of your body. Once again, the heart of your heart aligned with the heart of all that is in the heart of the earth. I ask the angels and archangels, please create for us a crystalline temple of radiant energy, crystalline temple of light all around each of us in this work, now and in the replay. I ask that you cleanse and clear all energies not of the light from around any of us, and weave for each our own chrysalis of radiant light, filled with the very rays and vibrations needed for our growth and for this work. I ask God, Goddess, source of all that is, encompass us so completely in your radiant light that only beings serving love, light, and truth may participate in any way. Deepest healing and highest guidance is received. If you will, breathe and ground, invoking your own most radiant high self to assist you in receiving all you need, releasing all it serves to release, and filling with your radiance, breathing in your light and light from source. I welcome into this sacred temple the Council of 12, and I welcome those beings from the heart of the light only, who are guides or loved ones for anyone here. Greetings, dear ones. We greet you, we bless you. We're so honored to be here with you, and we want to open up the screen. There we go. It's a joy to be here. And it's a special privilege because, as Evelina said today, you got to experience her more merged with spirit than often in the early part of this work, of your gatherings. So when you arrive at a place where you've had 2 hours of sleep or less, or you've had a troubled night, or you just got a lot going on, like you were saying, Heather, it's really working in the work world, and then there's the other places. So in times like that, you just can lean into spirit. There are days that Evelina will say, Babaji, I think you're going to have to channel me today. Today was more different than that. It was, and we're just sharing this with you. We probably wouldn't with hardly any others, but you're a very precious group and really evolving in your understanding of spirit. So today it's more a blended consciousness. And so what we noticed is in making the movement from that to the channeling space was just a short step, where usually it's more the, what do you call it? The in the world personality, not third dimension, third, fourth, that the one who lives in that era, that place. That personality is usually, it's a step from that into the guidance channeling through, the counsel coming through. And today it was just a scoot over. So that's how much Spirit will work with you. So it can happen when you're actually leading something or doing a session. It can also happen when you're planning. So one of the most precious ways in which Evelina and we collaborate is every once in a while, we ask for an appointment. And she comes and sits with us at an altar with her journal and pen, maybe some art materials, and a planning pad. And then we sit. And we do one of the many practices, or more of the many practices you've been experiencing here for creating altered consciousness. And then she gets still. At some point, she's writing. First time we did this, she was like, I really want to do a workshop. It was in Austin, Texas. So it was way back in the early 80s. I want to do a workshop. I don't know how to do a flyer. I don't know what it's going to be. And she sat with us. We asked her to sit. And she got into a very nice altered state. Sometimes a little plant medicine helps. And in that place, she got really still. The image came. She drew and wrote poetry. The entire flyer was done in about 30 minutes. It was handwriting, but it was beautiful because we did it. We've got calligraphists among us. And this image of a chalice, and it was the chalice of the heart. So that's one of the furthest reaches into which your collaboration with your guides can go. So if you're looking for keywords, you sit with your guides and you go, okay, so I want to ask in the brightest, clearest, most radiant beings who understand keywords and SEO and social media and whatever technology you want. Because we can go into the future and pluck the information you need. You see, there is no future, there's now. But it's really vast in terms of your sense of time and space. So you can say to your guides, I'd love for you to go out in my brightest, clearest, most radiant future and show me what of all the things I'm thinking to do to promote my work was most effective. I want to just do that. That's how you simplify things, Liz. You go, I want guidance and what's the most effective? What led me to the lifestyle I've been seeking now? So you can ask your guides to give you that information, or you can make the journey yourself. That's what Femifesting is. How many of you have done the free Femifesting audio we put on Mighty Networks? One? Well, isn't that interesting? Aren't you paying for these resources? I mean, that one's free, but isn't that interesting? So maybe now's the time. There's never anything wrong. There's just curious facts and experiences, right? So maybe this week you want to go and do the Femifesting video. What it does is it puts you in that bright, clear future. It's a quantum process. So there's a 5-minute grounding. Don't get bored. It's to get you all the way from past and future to now, and it often takes about that much. Because then we can take you into your quantum self, and this part's still here at the altar in your heart, but your quantum self goes to that possible bright, clear future where everything you decided to do to build your life you want to build from here worked, right? The very best path. So that's what you call for when you do that kind of meditation. Then you go there. Because you're deeply grounded, we can take you in your quantum self, even if it's in a parallel universe. And it might be. Why not? Wouldn't that be fun? Hey, guys, if there's a parallel universe that's more fun, more fulfilling, more prosperous, better life balance, more joy, more love, add a few paragraphs, add a few adjectives, take me to it. If that's for my highest good, if that serves my soul's plan, you put a few caveats in it because you don't want to be taken on a wild goose chase. If that serves my highest good, if that serves my soul's plan, take me to a higher reality. There's a parallel universe. You know, if it pulls up alongside, you want to step across. There's that moment where you go, I could think differently. There you are. And so Femifesting helps you access yourself in a parallel reality. Now, how do parallel realities happen? Well, you come to extraordinary choice points, like that time at age 7 when you either had to go with your siblings or your friends against your mother's wishes or stay home. In one reality, you stayed home. In the other reality, you went. And so then, and this is just part of the creative pleasures of the one who cooked this all up, this universe of universes, that, well, that'd be interesting. And then things start shifting. So this one goes into pleasure, but maybe guilt and shame and maybe trouble. This one goes at home, but then feels missed out and I don't like my life. Or maybe this one goes, I just gotta declare my freedom. This is too good. And they gain an empowerment that this one doesn't. So you go live with them for a bit. You get the benefit of what they've experienced. They get the benefit of what you've experienced. Then you come back, but your life gets informed by that reality. And if you want to move toward the reality you experience, you create a choice point. So there may be a part of you that doesn't and a part that does. Ooh, interesting. There's actually a fiction book written about this. It's called One. And it's by the man who wrote Jonathan Livingston Seagull, Richard Bach. And he's flying his plane and he finds this kind of, almost looks like the Mississippi River Delta of all the possible lifetimes. And he and his partner will land in one of them. That's the 10-year-old that didn't go away to school. Or that's the 22-year-old that said, just before going to the altar, I can't do this. And left the engagement. Watched by the one that went through with it, you see? Doesn't that make life more interesting? So curiosity. What parallel realities would be good ones to inform this one? And you might imagine that some of them would be, the ones worth visiting, would be the ones that answer that place inside of, I really, really want to understand. I really, really want to understand love in this life. I want to understand love and unconditional acceptance. So maybe there's one that followed that thread early on. And we can take you to that parallel reality and you can see that. So when you do this quantum work with parallel realities, you can choose the ones that give you the input that you want here. Cosmic play. So we'd love to hear what that touches in any of you, and any questions about it, any your wisdom about it, experiences. Yes, Lucinda.
Hit the wrong button. It's bringing up a little bit of fear,
Uh-huh.
which is just interesting, which is totally not true and not a place where I usually sit very often. But that's kind of what bubbled up. And I was just thinking, I wonder when I was asleep, because I do love my rest, what
Mhm.
all I might have missed out on. And then there was like this slight disappointment of
Well,
opportunities and gateways and things that could have happened. But I chose my physical rest and my physical needs over risks sometimes. And so, yeah, I just thought I'd share that humanness of maybe not wanting to know, but then feeling like I already know, kind of thing. Interesting.
when fear comes up, it's good. Helps you remember you're human and that you're not just going after any bright, shiny new experience. You're, whoa. In a way, this kind of fear we feel is like, I'm going to stand at the threshold of that for a bit. I'm going to assess this territory before I step in. Something like that.
Well, I think it's just the absence of knowing, the absence of even seeing the choice.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're sleeping, I mean, I know that your astro body probably is still experiencing what's going on around you, so it probably on some level knows. So I don't know. I'm just sitting with that interesting aspect of me that there's just sometimes I don't like playing in the cosmic play, and
Mm-hmm.
the dream state is so much more enjoyable because I can do anything there. Yeah. It's like that spiritual versus the earthly experience and balancing it and choosing to have the earthly experience versus the alternative.
Your dream world isn't exactly just earthly. What we're hearing is, I have plenty of entertainment just playing in all the realms that my dream world takes me to. And my intuition that I'm not sure I want to play out there in the cosmos. And we share it not so much for any of you to begin to cultivate that practice, and more to notice that occasionally you already do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have that night where you're just shining, and you go to a gathering and my goodness, everyone's drawn to you and you're radiant and everything comes so easily for you. You may have touched a parallel part of you. To say these universes never interact is, in a sense, lessening what's possible.
Well, that wasn't my intention. I was just saying if I had to choose between being awake and living a human experience or being in the dream state, like if I have the choice to choose, I often would meditate and go into the dream state versus going to the party. But I have had those experiences hundreds of times since my head injury, where I literally go in not knowing anything, and then it's as if I have scripted every single word, and it's just perfect. It's too perfect. It almost feels like I'm in a dream. So
That is what we're speaking of, Lucinda.
yeah.
And it often comes in the wake of not remembering. The brain doesn't work. The you're too tired. It doesn't, you can't really show up, but you're so committed to showing up. And so you do, in a sense, borrowing from, it could be borrowing from another of your lifetimes, but it also can be borrowing or sharing the experience with a part of you in that level of competency in their universe. And it's just like a little gift. Oh, whoa, I'm that too. Yeah. Expanding beyond, some call it the skin encapsulated ego. You're all way beyond that, but expanding your consciousness to allow for possibilities that you experience without having to define them, but that add richness to your existence. The dream state is absolutely one to choose very, very often, because it's for your version of this particular species. It's rejuvenation, it's inspiration, it's deep rest, it's all kinds of things. And sometimes information. Fortunately, not so often. It more just wants to serve you. Meaning, like Evelina's dream today of, ooh, something needs to be done. That's not very often in the dream state. And we would suggest that in a sense, it was like a part of her was touching a parallel reality. And she had the wisdom to work with us to clear out what was coming through that wasn't tasty. Should be tasty, or don't go there. Other comments? Thank you, Lucinda.
I like playing in this daily. Like
Mhm.
I like being like, that happened yesterday where my partner drives home and I wanted to finish a project 5 minutes and then come. And I'm like, oh, that didn't feel good.
Hmm.
Then I'm like, can we redo it? Can we just replay it? I'm gonna try it the other way. And then we replay it in my, like, in our minds. And I'm
Hmm.
like, oh, that felt a lot better.
Mhm.
I like to like, or if we get in the car and how we get in the car, I'm like, oh, this doesn't feel good. Can we get back out of the car and try this again? So I know we're doing it more in imagination, but I like bringing the imagination into my human world too.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I am playing with it with my, like my dreams in my heart. Like, what if I do the online course thing? How does that feel? What
Mhm.
if I do the retreat thing? How does that all feel? What if I do my water priestess thing? How does that all feel? And I feel
Mhm.
like, what if I'm working in the mental health system and creating new paradigms? How does that feel? So
Excellent.
I'm kind of like playing in all of them and seeing which one wants to show up.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's why I haven't I haven't been guided yet, because I don't know if my soul I don't know what it is, but it feels like I'm still getting clear which one really lights me up.
Mhm. Excellent. Yeah. So that might be called playing with alternate realities, but because you live outside time and space so beautifully, for you, it's like you go to each one, but they're not quite actualized yet. So you might go to a little more future of each one. You might ask, what's that fully actualized look like, feel like?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
So,
think as I do that, expands the other ones. I'm like, oh, and that one I really like this. Can I bring that one into this one? Like,
mm.
and then they're starting to expand the theme of what's in my heart.
Yeah. So the order you're putting in with the universe for the future you're designing has more elements to it. I want that. I'd like a side of this, and I'd like this cooked this way. And so you're constructing it in a way that the universe working with you to fulfill that is more targeted.
Mm.
It's almost like in that word, that sense of the avatar. What's my avatar future?
Mhm.
It's the one that lights me up. Yeah. So we're putting a set of words to it. There are many ways to define it. And that's a beautiful way to search out what path do I want to take? Because once you fully commit to it, that's where the universe puts the resources. So many people just go, well, I'll just start. But you want it to be something you want to invest your life in, because that's what you're doing. You're investing the one thing that seems most limited, which is you're investing your time in it. So you choose well in this fashion. The first thing you were saying, we often call change histories. And it's very effective. It's you go back and you make it come out the way you want to make it, you want it to come out. With one of the worst incest experiences in Evelina's childhood, she could never clear it with her father, and it wasn't worth trying because he does rage. He did then. He did love at the end, thank goodness. So she, at some point after a bunch of therapy, she wrote him a poem, a long poem, like a letter about the whole experience, said it all. And about 3 days later, we invited her to, from him, write back to her. So she channeled like what he should have said from a higher place in him. And it changed the history. Yeah. And you can do it with anything. In therapy, they have a thing of the two people are talking and you don't like what you're saying. You go, rewind, the old-fashioned camera, and you're rewinding the reel and you go back to where it was working. Let's start there. Change history. So it happens on many levels, that capacity to be interactive with your reality. So it comes out more the way you want to live, right? Because when you interact with it, when you vision like that, when you allow your futures to be made evident to you, you can evolve a relationship with the future that you most want to be living in. So many people say, what do you want? Well, I want to stop this and I would quit that and I want to not do that. And that's not what you want. So you want to go further. And what do you want? And as you seek to get visions and understandings of what that is, what that might look like you're saying, Carrie, it's beautiful. That evolves it. The universe goes, oh, there's where all the energy is. Oh, that person has a prayer. Oh, like you were saying, Heather, then the right person arrived at the right time because of your clarity in that part of your life. It drew that person energetically, magnetically. Attract. That's the kind of ease you're wanting, Liz. That the ease of magnetic attraction. Who else? We didn't know we were going to be on this topic today, but it's quite fun.
Hi, I feel very similar to Carrie, actually. I've been sitting with, there's it's like what I call my modality. It's Radiant Health for Life that I started creating maybe 8 years ago, and then went on a whole health journey for 7 years and really fleshed it out. And it's a combination between like looking at the chakras and the layers, the aura, and different health protocols for each layer of the aura to help somebody heal. different health issues, like beginning with the outer layer of the aura, which relates to your environment, which affects us all so much more profoundly than we usually notice. And then spirit brought through, this was right before or maybe shortly after I moved here, an offering from when I was teaching Tantra, of helping people learn about their hand chakras and the way, like the edge of your aura, and how to tune into other people,
Mhm.
and all the abilities we have with these chakras. And it's like my question is, I have to think about what the question is. I've been sitting with both of these because they're both offerings, and I can really see and feel the experience of teaching people in person and also marketing in person. And I guess I would love some guidance or suggestions, thoughts, anything in relation to how I might bring these together, because I see the more like, the more simple offering of teaching people about their hand chakras and the layers, the aura, and how to connect with other people with the radiant health for life.
Mhm.
So.
Mhm. Mhm. Well, in terms of the teachings of today, we would say that you do a femifesting and ask to be teleported into the highest, brightest, clearest future reality where you're integrating all of those things.
Oh, that's
Yeah. And go visit that part of you that's already doing that. That will give you an embodied experience of what it's like. And then you can ask her how she got there. What we notice these modalities have in common is chakras and energy and self-care. So if you add them together in some way, you focus on the commonalities and maybe put less emphasis on Tantra, except as it's one of the things you bring into play. So it's not coming in through the Tantra doorway, perhaps. It's coming in through the radiant health doorway, but includes the chakras and what you've learned from Tantra. So it looks like an expansion, adds another piece to what you've already had in there. And it could be a safe entry point. Because for people to play with chakra energy in their hands, they get an energetic experience of it very often, and they've done it in workshops. And so creates intimacy. That part about building your brand, it creates intimacy. They take it into their body. So it might be, maybe that's your free offering. Maybe that's something that you offer at festivals or workshops that brings people to the fullness of your work.
Yeah, as you were talking about it earlier, I was thinking that would be a good free offering. But I also would love to share with people, invite them to my home and take that deeper to learning how to connect with others on an energetic level that's more fulfilling than just speaking, and then having that as a weekly offering. But I like it as a free offering.
Well, then your funnel. So you have your free offering, you have your sessions, but part of that might be working with an individual in your home. Might lead to working with couples. It might lead to a package of working with couples. It might lead to 4 couples coming together into something. You see?
That's nice. I have a vision of like a whole group of people.
Yeah.
I already have people who are interested in attending. I just need to get it together and start.
So there's something in get it together that feels a push.
Mm.
Like you got one of your feet kind of in your behind, go and get it together, girl.
Yeah, that's not how I want to operate here.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. What might be a better metaphor for what you want?
Well, I love sharing with people about this, the hand chakras and this modality. I don't know what else to call it right now because I haven't come up with a name. I'm sorry, what did you ask me?
You always know you're touching resistance when the person either can't remember or they get sleepy.
Mm.
So we were asking if perhaps you have a better metaphor for getting it
Oh,
together that
yeah.
doesn't have your foot in your behind. That feels more like
Yeah,
it comes from inside. What wants to happen? What's your
yeah,
heart want to do?
yeah. I've been so used to operating that way. My heart really wants to just allow. I love being here now and following like what feels like it wants to happen next, and I just get into such a flow,
Mhm.
and I'd like to trust and do it with this and whatever. I guess I have a bit of pressure on myself to get on it
Yeah.
sooner since I'm here, and but that's not. I want to just allow the unfolding and allow how it wants to come together.
So Jasmine, we would say that you just spoke about your work, your true offering, with way more clarity than we've ever heard from you.
Mhm.
And we would suggest that you've been on it by coming where you've come to Burnsville and resting and being yourself and finding yourself and journaling and being and arriving. And look, clarity's coming.
Yeah, thank you for
Some,
that. It just,
yeah.
yeah, a
Sometimes,
lot of it happens in stillness. Oh, go on.
sometimes it percolates under the surface. And your clarity's
Mhm.
been percolating. You feel it? It's like, I
Mm,
can speak it now. Wow. I am
yeah,
progressing.
this has really helped. So many things about what we're doing here has supported me so much with my being that when I take the time and I literally just like watch and meditate and watch my thoughts and watch. I am getting a lot more clarity,
Yes.
and I'll play our time back in my mind and my meditations.
You know,
So
you've made a big turn in your life, a big shift on many levels. And it's wise to take some time to arrive. You want to quickly build a new path, but no, you don't, because what you really want, what your heart wants, is to let it evolve from within you. And it is.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's very true.
So you have a circle in which there are amazing women who might really enjoy just an experience of what you're talking about in exchange for something you might enjoy from them. That could be another step without the
Yeah.
foot behind. It's just, well, that'd be fun. So go to the ones that feel like fun and evolve your work from your pleasure. What makes your heart
Yes,
sing?
yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, especially
All
right
my
there
work
from your pleasure. That's what we want to say to you,
Yeah.
Diana. Evolve your work from your pleasure. What would make my heart sing? Not what will people want, or what will make money, or what will work. What'll make my heart sing? Because you're investing your life in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your time, your
That's
resources.
still
Yeah.
new.
All new for you.
to
Yep.
do.
Mm. How does it feel to have devoted yourself to the path of finding the path for yourself?
Uh, I really have to, well, I don't even like the word work, but I need to work at it. Like really, I need to be very mindful to give myself that space and the emotional space to be deeply present in myself and my heart, and what do I, like what really feels good to me, what calls to me, to give myself that kind of importance in all of this, because I have been so other focused a lot in my
Okay.
life.
So the next phase you're ready for, we'd say, is when you say work at it, what we get is, I want to devote some quality time to journaling, visioning, dreaming it up, allowing it to come through. I want to be the dream weaver of the dream. I want to put more into that now. I'm ready.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's time.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So who else has a response or inquiry of any kind? Nina?
I have an
Olivia. Mhm.
I have an inquiry. It's as I was saying earlier, I fell down some stairs that kind of re-injured a part where I fell down some stairs a few years ago, which
Mm.
has kind of shifted neck, spine, everything. And then there's been, over my past life, a few concussions, pretty good ones. And I'm wondering if that is accidental, if it's trying to forcing me to be still, as I was saying, hoping to be calibrating me to a higher level, to slow down, I guess maybe to be very mindful of steps, or I don't know. I mean, some has been skating, but some has been just to be, that's not cautious, because that's not what, just asking the council their suggestions, recommendations, or what it is.
Accidents and illnesses, ailments are often course corrections. So people want to know, was that an accident? Nobody caused it, or was that somehow sent to me, like the universe is making me get hurt to learn? The universe doesn't quite work that way, but your psyche may. So we notice that some people do a lot of illnesses and some people do a lot of accidents. Evelina did a lot of accidents. It's had 3 or 4 head injuries, very big one as part of it, and broken this and broken that, and on it goes. A lot of rib cage injuries. So every one of them you get to look at, not with, why did I make that happen to myself? Or am I forcing, or is somebody forcing me? It's like, what's the message? What's the message? Well, let's see. Well, certainly seemed to be a message about, well, now I have to slow down. So it did get me to slow down. Perhaps when I'm walking downstairs, it's a message about putting my thought on walking downstairs. Was I distracted? Do I go around in my head and forget where my feet are going? I expect them to just get me where I'm going, and I don't always pay attention to this. Steps are all different heights. I don't always pay attention. And then there's that one that's a real different height, or if I'd looked, there was something slick, or do I keep an eye on my safety when I need to? Rather than just always expect my body to take me where I need to go. Sometimes my body might need my mind's attention. So there's a piece of it in like that for you, I think. It's, they say that there's really no multitasking. In a way, there's some truth to that. So it's when you're driving, if you have car accidents like she has, do you have a part of your consciousness on the road and the car and what's happening and who's around? And can you do that and still dream? You know, being able to hold presence with what's important, where a lot of times you can just walk and be in your spirit or your soul or your dreamer self or your heart. But sometimes you need to be in your feet consciously. The other piece is accidents. So we've had a lot of accidents. What might have taken me where I needed to go without accidents? So you look at the benefits. You look at what you've gotten from the accidents. Rest, time to recuperate, more understanding of your body. You've learned about inflammation. You've learned about pain. You've learned about elevating. You've learned about treatments. What else? I've learned I can sit back from my life and it goes on and I don't have to rush at it so much. Accidents, they keep me from rushing. Oh, so it's not just slow down now. Maybe it's more thoughtfulness and consciousness that the movements I'm making and the forays into the world are what I really want. So if I'm making a trip for somebody else and I don't want to be doing it and I'm rushing to get it done, that's when I might fall down the steps because I'm not really there. Didn't want to be there. So it's better if you're only where you want to be. It prevents a lot of accidents. And it's better that you only run the energy you want to run. It prevents a lot of illnesses. That helpful?
Yes. Yeah,
Good.
pretty much kind of what I need. Yes, it did. So thank you. It's very helpful.
There was a time 30 years ago when a partner of Evelina said, you're sick too much. I just don't want to be with you. You're sick so often. It's probably 35 years ago. And she said, well, I can't help it. I don't make myself sick. And he said, Evelina, was Evelyn then, for the last 6 weeks, you've been sick on a Monday. And I wasn't sick for weeks and weeks. And I haven't been sick for about 25 years. Because I got it. I got it was a racket. I got to be taken care of. And so I went to a workshop and they had you list all the values you got from being sick and then how else could you get them? 2 sides of a journal page. And I went through all the things I got from being sick and gave them to myself. I got to rest. I got to stop. I got to be taken care of. Oh, I have to ask. I might have had someone snuggle. So you look at what am I getting and just kind of from a neutral place without judgment, and then give it to yourself. Thank you, Nina. Olivia.
I have this pattern. It's like this very old pattern that it just feels so challenging. It's like where I know what the boundary is. I've made the boundary really clear to those in my life. And this past week, it was a new client coming in. And it was like just that I have a 48-hour cancellation policy.
Mhm.
And they canceled. I felt like it wasn't clear enough in the initial conversation. They canceled late prior to their first session. I wrote them, clarified, was like, I'll waive this and not charge you since I wasn't super clear in the initial conversation, but it is also like in the informed consent that you signed and on my website and in everything that you look at about me. I feel like it's just like really out there.
Mhm.
So we have our initial session, they schedule their next session, decide they don't want to work together, and then cancel again late. So I go ahead and charge them.
Mhm.
And I start getting these nasty demanding messages from them, demanding a refund, kind of accusing me of somehow being unclear about my pricing, my fees, even though it's in paperwork they signed, it's talked about in the initial call, it's in charts on my website, like that they've been referred to, it's, I feel like just super clear and super out there. And I am feeling so like just wound up in this little frustration and this drama because it's such a familiar pattern for me where I'm like, I don't know how to let go of this. Like it just feels so old and so activating.
Mhm. What need is in you is getting met by the wound up part that you know so well.
Mm, I think it's a protective instinct. It's like I know that I'm right,
Mhm.
and like wanting to put it into those like right and wrong kind of
Mhm.
black and white spaces, right?
Mhm.
Um, and so I think a need for I don't know actually.
One thing we sense is you merge with their right wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So you go into protection. So going into protection must mean that you've already given them the power to harm you. I want you to notice how you gave them the power to harm you. So they're out of line, they're writing nasty notes, but somewhere the wound up is, oh my God, they've got the power to hurt me.
Mm.
Do they? Do they really?
Um, I mean, I think in my work, I'm always worried about my reputation or like, getting a bad review or things like that. So that is like, that feels like a reality to me. And it would also ultimately be okay.
Great Mother Goddess, I want to give you my worries about bad reviews. It's drawing the wrong people to me.
Mm.
I offer it up. I surrender my worry about my reputation. It's drawn people who might threaten it. I got the wrong magnet going here, Mother Goddess. Please remove this magnet. You see? So our sense with this particular situation is the way that you could protect yourself. So the need for protection might be there. Who
Mhm.
knows? So they put something in writing. So you put something in writing and you quote what's in the thing they signed, make it clear they signed it, and you quote what's on the website. So you give facts. Now it's in writing what the facts are. So they have no case. Done. You make it nice and you let them know that you would like good relationships between you, and you feel you've been very clear in writing, in person, on the first call, after the first miss, and you'd like them to accept that this is true of working with you. It has been from the beginning. Thank you. So if you have a certainty about your being right, rather than that reaction, you see, if you go, okay, and once you've written that letter, you've got the format, you can do it again if you ever have to. But if you change the fear, if you really surrender that, you may not have to again. Because you've changed your magnet. So what we're talking about today with this play with parallel realities or dreaming or whatever you want to call it is what do you want to magnetize? Oh, Great Mother Goddess, bring me people who love paying me well. They love paying me a lot and they love coming back and they help build my reputation. You see? So you put some energy into this shift of magnet and we think you'll move out of these kinds of issues with people.
Yeah, it's interesting too. Like I've also had very much the opposite feedback from multiple clients this week of like some of the most powerful work I've done. And like, this has changed my life. This has been amazing, those kinds of things. And it's like, yeah, that feels really amazing. And this is taking up so much more space for me. So I really appreciate that call to like, beyond me.
So far it is. You've got one foot in the new reality already. And so you're drawing the kinds of people you want. And another that's still pulling out of the past. So everyone is really has more than one personality. One therapist says everyone's at least a multiple of 3. Everyone. You're the innocent natural child. You get wounded, the adaptive child, or the wounded child and the adaptive child. So you may have some part inside that's still running from fear.
Yeah.
So that's a nurturing task and a soul retrieval task. Find out where that part lives, love them up, go with Divine Mother, love them up, bring them into current time. And it's kind of like when you step into a new reality, it's not like you're here and you step here. It's kind of like one foot goes and it'd be a slow, what do they call it, action thing that is a time lapse of the rest of you kind of follows, and it's a while before that last part comes out. So you just want to be really loving. Ooh, oh, that's the old way. No, we're doing it this way now. Yeah. And in many ways, very, very often, the part that is still in the old pattern is a child. And a lot of the task is love them up and help them know you're adults. You've got an adult on duty now. Let me take care of clients and payments. I know how. It'll work better. You get to play, finally. Yeah. Congratulations on your quantum leap you're in the middle of to this new reality.
Thank you.
Well. Yeah. Beautiful. Oh, thank you. And who else? Universe is present to offer you guidance. What would you like to know or receive or puzzle out or share with others here? Diana.
I would like to receive ease and success. I like to say the Christ goes before me and makes my way easy and successful. And I would like that to be poured all over me and all of the concerns of my life right now, because my cleaner is not being able to get into my rental property. So I'm having to send the realtor over there. So all the little things that are going on, I would just like ease and success
Mm.
poured all over me right now. Thank you, Council of 12 and all beings. Thank you, thank you, thank
Here we go.
you.
Calling in ease and success from where those qualities live in the cosmos. Beautiful ease, beautiful success, the nectar of Christ's light, drawing you into the universe of ease and success, more rest, more play, things go together. Everyone coordinates with everyone so easily. And I just get to watch and enjoy the play of consciousness as my life unfolds before me with so much more pleasure and ease and comfort and wonderful, radiant success and abundance. And I'm so happy. And thank you, Christ, for enfolding me in ease and success.
Thank you.
Thanks for asking for what you want. Who else?
I would like to ask the council for tools for helping me with stillness and peace.
Mhm. We suggest that you go to a beautiful place in nature and you sit beside a stream, a waterfall, seems like a water element of some kind. And you sit with the koan. What is stillness? And koans are questions you ask yourself, not for the answer, but for what happens as you ask the question. What is stillness? And then notice. Notice what occurs inside. Notice what doesn't. Notice if your mind just takes a break. There's a way that we feel your beautiful mind and your capacity to create life wants to work at stillness. And it can't. Stillness is when all effort ceases. So go sit in beauty and just witness, breathe into the felt sense of simply being. And when a thought comes, you don't fight it, you just watch it go by like a cloud in the sky. And another thought comes, you become the one who watches the thoughts. And then there's a time of no thought, and you just let it be. What most people in your culture and actually in the Western world have been taught is to fill every moment with something. You got to be thinking about something important. You should be thinking about your future. You should be planning. You should be dreaming. You should. And so the mind gets into these incessant tracks of just operating because it operates. That is not stillness. That place where you go into beauty and you're thinking about yesterday and tomorrow, and I might, and I could cook, and I could this, and I could that, and they could this, and they said that, and I could have said that, and that's not stillness. So you start studying what's stillness and what's not stillness. You're in a discovery of the nature of stillness. When you notice the mind doing what minds do, you talk to it. You say, mind, you're fabulous. Always praise them first. You're so good. And you could think through my entire life all the time and it'd be wonderfully helpful, except now. In the next 20 moments or 30 moments, 30 minutes, I would like you to stop thinking and to simply be. That is the greatest gift you could give me right now, because mind wants to serve. It's the greatest gift you could give me right now. And if you want to think, go sit over there, pull up a pillow, take notes, don't talk to me about it, and we'll talk later. And you do the same with the ego. Those are really good practices to get to stillness. A lot of honoring and respect because they serve you. But the mind tends to think, Lazarus used to say, the ego mind, the negative ego mind, thinks it's the CEO. It's really the mailroom clerk. So it tends to think it's got to constantly be working and making up life. No, it can just be still until you need some messages in or out. You see, you don't have to interact with the world all the time. So whatever felt sense is of needing to do that is what you address inside. You might journal about it. So you go for stillness and you don't get it, journal. Okay, mind, what's going on? What's all this thinking about? What do you want? What are you after? Can I get those needs met with stillness? Journal. Stillness is not fighting what is. It's finding a way underneath it or around all of that to being. And in terms of evolving a life with more stillness, go to your calendar before anyone else books and put yourself on it. Put 2 to 4 on Wednesday, me, or walk. And then someone wants to get together. You go, I want to walk on Wednesday. You got time? So put walk on there, put rest, put Evelina before this event puts prep and marks it busy on the calendar. So nothing else comes in there. Put stillness.
Ah.
Don't you do what's on your calendar mostly?
Always.
Okay, great. Put it on your calendar.
That. I don't put that on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Put play on your calendar. Okay.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you very much.
Mhm. We have time for one more inquiry. Who would like to ask or share? And if you're someone who usually hangs back, see if it's your turn. Heather?
Just say I don't have an inquiry, but I really appreciate hearing everybody else's because will often either take in what's being given for myself as well, or it elicits thoughts that I'll journal and have my own clarity on as you go. So I just wanted to speak for the value of it, that I get a lot from sitting and listening. So I'm appreciating that.
It's very good to hear that for us and for the circle,
Mhm.
so that we know that you're gaining your benefit too.
Yeah. And maybe I can just share a thought I just had about this concept of you can't see yourself. Like I always feel like I can see my clients really clearly, and I can see their problems and what they need to do to change and adjust. It's so easy to see them and the patterns and all the things. And sometimes I wonder, why can't I see myself as clearly? And it's just a reality, is that we cannot see ourselves. We need mirrors or other people's to reflect us. Like we can literally not see our own face. And so I was just sitting with a sense of like, right, because I can't see myself, I need to feel. And I have to feel from that inside way that, you know, you talk about, and I talk a lot about in my teaching too. It's like, you have to go inside. And so feeling from the inside, I can know myself, because I can't see myself. It has to come from another way of knowing. So it was just kind of an interesting little revelation that I was, yeah.
Seems like an important one.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you.
We also have a thought
Mhm.
that one way to further the ability to see yourself would be to create a session with yourself and do a 2-chair. Or you can do a 3-chair. So you're you during the session, you're you receiving it. And at some point you go walk behind the one receiving it. You're your wisdom self witnessing.
Yeah.
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 And bending time and space works in many ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you.
Do you know if your Mercury is close to your sun in your chart?
I'm not sure.
People with Mercury close to the sun, one of the characteristics is it's very hard to see yourself because your mind and your sun are near the same degree in the sky. If there's more distance, it's easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So relying on others is great. That's why we have each other. Wouldn't it be interesting, maybe a activity on your when you all get together is tell me how you see me, or to do it with friends. Tell each other how I see you, and then you share how you see yourself, or maybe share that first. Yeah. It's part of the value of some of the amazing women's circles in particular, or people circles where there's heart shares. Because you share your heart and you don't see yourself sharing, but you see the reflection in the whole circle of mirrors. Yeah. Thank you. Carrie?
I know we're wrapping up here. I'm just curious. I'm just noticing in today's session, like a lot of energy moving up and down my chakra system. And I could feel it in the beginning, really in my root, and then sacral, and then heart. And then I get this vibration in my teeth and almost like a ringing in my ear. So I was just curious if you had any. My ways of knowing, I don't get a lot of cognitive or stories with it. And I'm just curious of your perspective of how maybe an interpretation of what this all is for me.
We ask your higher self, and we feel that you're sitting in a circle of women, almost all of whom are being activated at another level in the middle of this time of activations on the earth. And because you're because you happen to love activation. It's like your body's resonating with that. It's like, whoa, oh, we're a little white water here. Yeah, a lot of energy moving, a lot of opening happening. That seemed
Yeah, I'm curious because it does come in. So and I do love activations. So I was, as I say this, I think I'll answer my own question, but like, so I can know that an activation is happening maybe for another when I'm having this somatic experience. And what I also probably know is true that I want to ask is that I'm also receiving an upgrade and up leveling while
often.
others are being activated.
We would say yes. We would say there may be times that you're feeling someone else's activation that's less about you.
Okay.
The ringing in the ears, that almost is a signal that this isn't all me.
Oh, interesting.
And you can say, if this is someone else's energy, I want to receive it differently, or I'd rather not resonate with what makes my ears ring.
Huh.
You don't have to go on the ride just because you're amazingly empathic and you can.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, somebody told me that once my ears ring when my guides want to talk to me and I'm not getting the message.
Mhm. Well, that was one thought we had as well, that it's likely there's a message of Carrie, you don't have to do this, Carrie. Not all you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So if you're with a person and their Kundalini is activating and running, and you want to experience that with them, that's fabulous. That's what lovers do. And you can play with it. We think that what your guides are wanting you to do is be more at choice.
Mhm.
So when you're feeling something like that, especially with that signal, you go, whatever part of this is not mine, I ask be outside of my body. If you later want to tune into it, you can, but you move it outside of your field. So you get to have your own experience rather than going on the ride with others.
Okay.
So it's about choice.
That resonates. The
Good.
choice really resonates. Thank you.
You're welcome. Lucinda?
I'd like to thank you, Evelina, for your share this morning, or right when we were getting started, about your processing the pain of your mother. And it answered a question for me. I've been just being with all of us and curious as to why I chose you. And I feel like that's a big part of it. So thank you for that validation. And I look forward to a private session with you. So thank you. Yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah. It's been a great revelation. And like a key to so many things. So many things. And one of those things that came in like, oh no. But, you know, when we look at what we're doing and we undo it, then we get freedom. So it's given me freedom. Thank you. Appreciate the acknowledgement. So I have two questions, or two options. we talked last time about if any of you wanted to do a video testimonial, if you'd stay right after, and we'll record those. I'll put it on speaker mode and record them. So a minute or so of appreciation, or even a half minute. That's about 4 sentences. So it doesn't take much. And I don't know if there was any desire to talk about the retreat after we finish. So can we do some quick videos and then have that conversation, because it's not everyone here. Or we might have some of that conversation next time. I'm too jealous of our 3 hours. I can't quite give it to them.
I'm gonna record mine
Okay,
and not send it to you.
good. Good.
I would love to give you a testimonial, but I don't love making videos. Would you like a written one? Would that be helpful?
I would love, yes, I would love more testimonials on Yelp or Facebook or LinkedIn.
Okay, perfect.
I've got a bunch and they're old. So on any of my emails, those 3 links are at the bottom of the email. And if you write one and then put it on all 3, it would make me so happy.
I would love that.
Okay. Wonderful.
I'd like
Yeah,
to
I'll
follow
write you
it.
one as well. Oh.
I'm invite as well too.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna follow Olivia's lead on that
Yes.
one. Yeah.
So
I'd like
you'll
to
do it.
that.
You'll do it and send it, is what you're saying?
On Yelp or something?
Or Yelp
Yeah.
on those?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'd
that's
be happy to
fabulous.
give you some new stuff. And then maybe when I'm spending some time with Neen and Carrie, maybe one of them would videotape me and we could make it playful and fun or something
Yeah.
if
Well,
they're
you could-
interested. And so I could do both that way. But I at least am 100% committed to the written.
Wonderful. Oh, that's so fantastic. Because I was just getting around to thinking I needed to ask for it, and here we are. That's
Thank
how
you, Olivia.
magnetism, how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could
Evelyn-
also, one second, you and Carrie could interview each other.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I'd love to get that prompting
Yeah.
of our energies together. Maybe even a conversation of us sharing our appreciation for each other in the circle and
Yeah.
meeting, and how you've orchestrated and held that space and brought us together. Just like the magic that happens that's so far more abundant than just the 8 weeks. You know, it's like an incubator. So, but that, so Diana, maybe it is 8 months.
Yeah. So in terms of the early teaching, that brings the intimacy, you see,
Mhm.
to what we put out about the next one. It clarifies the message and brings the intimacy in.
Mhm.
Thank you. Diana, you were going to say?
Yeah, I just was curious, do you want us to do the testimonial specifically about the spiritual mentorship, or does it matter?
Well, in the written, you can write about whatever. The video now, I would love some brief videos about the spiritual mentorship, because I'm filling the one in September, and I'd love to have you all come. Start September 27th, and your videos or your testimonials can help other people want to come.
I'll do that too.
Okay. Okay. So let's close. Let's thank the Council of 12. Thank all the radiant guides and angels who've assisted us. You are such a gift. Such a gift and presence in our lives. We thank you. We bless you. Please continue to guide and direct each of us to our highest destinies, with miracles of grace and ease. And we ask the realms of light to bless each one of us in our lives, and to bless this earth with flows of radiant light, scalar waves that uplevel the consciousness of all species on this planet to more love, harmony, joy, and peace. Blessed be. I honor each of you and I bless you. I release you. I take my energy back. I release all of you with love. I draw me in. Throat, I release you with love. I receive myself. Breathe myself in. And heart, I release all of you with love. I call myself home. Third, I release all of you with love. I bring me back. Second, I release all of you. I bring me home. And first, I release you. Pour your light into yourself. Bring in light from your highest source and outline your arc field with it. Beautiful. Let's do 3 ohms, okay? Breathing in fully, all the way out. Ah. Breathing in. Oh. 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 Thank you so much. I love working with y'all. Such a joy. We are complete.